Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jem Marasigan. I'm one of the facilitators for one of the San Joaquin Valley Community Steering Committees. I'm joined here by my colleague, Yvette Nash. And so for the first half of this session, for the first 30 minutes, she and I will be going over the W-9 and direct deposit forms. And then after that, we'll hand it off to the Air District where they'll go over some Zoom instructions. But before we dive in, I'm going to quickly go over some instructions for interpretation. As a reminder, we're now doing simultaneous interpretation, so this applies to everyone, whether you're listening in Spanish or English. So in your Zoom controls, for those who are using a computer, click the interpretation button. It's located at the bottom of your screen. And then please click the language you'd like to hear. So you should choose English or Spanish. And please ensure that mute original audio is not selected so you can hear those speaking who calls in through the phone. I'm going to pause and let Emilia give the instructions in Spanish.
No se escucha en el español.
Oh, she couldn't hear in Spanish.
Interpretation should be on.
She says she
No se
can't.
escucha nada.
Ok, muy buenas tardes. Lo voy a decir en español y luego sí ya lo puedo poner en el canal. Si están queriendo entrar a interpretación, por favor busque el icono de abajo que tiene el globo y va a seleccionar el idioma español. Parece que queríamos poner a Emilia para decir este comentario, pero ahorita ya la tenemos en ese canal. So, en caso de que tenga algún problema, déjenos saber, pero usted quiere seleccionar el idioma de español. Y también en este caso tenemos que escoger ya sea el inglés o el español para que usted lo pueda escuchar. ¿Tiene alguna persona alguna pregunta en este momento? María Teresa, ¿todavía se puede escuchar ahora en su canal?
Yeah, she chatted that she can hear.
Sí, ahora sí.
Okay,
Sí, ya
gracias.
se escucha.
Okay, perfecto, gracias. Okay, so do we need to go over this again? Jem, I
Thank you,
think.
Mari. Yeah,
Okay.
just really quickly for those who are using the app on a phone or a tablet. So similar instructions, if you're using the tablet or phone to log in, you could click the Zoom, on the Zoom controls, click the three dots, which are usually located at the bottom of the screen. You want to click language interpretation and select the language you want to hear. Again, it's going to be English or Spanish, and ensure that mute original audio is not selected. You want to interpret again, Mari? Or is it working now?
It should be working now. We had already set it up, so we're
Awesome.
good. Thank you.
Perfect. And of course, if there are any questions, please send us a chat and we will monitor that. Okay, so for today, like I said, the first 30 minutes of the session, we will go over the packet that should have been sent out to everyone. And then we'll go over what is included in those. Then we will talk through in more detail about the W-9 form, the direct deposit form, and then we'll walk through some frequently asked questions that we've received in the meantime. So with that said, I'm going to hand it off to my colleague Yvette to kick us off.
Hi, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good day. My name is Yvette Nash, and I am the Administrative Operations Assistant for Harder & Company, and I'm part of the Stipend disbursement team. So I may have talked to some of you back in November, just to verify some information. And again, I may have been in contact with some of you recently in regards to check questions and whatnot. So I'm very excited to go over the packet that was recently mailed out in January to everyone. So the 4 items that were included in the packet were as follows. So we included a letter to you, just, to say Happy New Year, and, that we're the new facilitators, what was, what to expect, and along with enclosed, documents. So that was the W-9, that's the second document, and the direct deposit, and a self-addressed postage envelope. So those were the 4 items that were included in the packet. And to accommodate both English and Spanish, they were sent also in Spanish. So English and Spanish letter, W-9, and direct deposit. Can go ahead and go to the next slide. So I know forms are a little bit challenging to fill out. So a W-9 is an IRS form. And so we are going to be going over the sections of this form. I know it can be a bit confusing. So I don't like to fill out forms, but hey, we have to. So just the basic, to let everyone know that we're just requesting W-9s from every member who's attending the meetings and receiving the monthly stipends. So just a quick rundown of the form. The first part that we're asking to want to make sure that it's correctly filled out is your name. So exactly how it's shown on your tax return. So if your name is, Robert, and, you go by Bobby, we don't want to have you fill out Bobby Smith. We want to see Robert Smith. And so we want to make sure that that's accurate and that your information matches. The second part would be the business name. So if it applies to you, fill out that information. The third piece would be the federal tax classification. So selecting the box that applies to you. The fourth box would be the exemptions. Again, if it applies to you, fill it out. If not, just leave it blank. And the fifth and sixth line would be the address. So again, your street number, street name, apartment, unit, suite. Just make sure that that information is included there. The city, state, and zip code as well. And number 7, the account number. So that it's optional and you can leave it blank. And if you have any additional questions in regards to like the federal tax classification or exemptions, consult with your tax advisor. They would be the best person to get that information from. If anybody has any questions, feel free to make a note in the comment, in the chat box. We can move on to the next. So the second part to this form, I know it's very confusing. I don't know what to fill out. I have troubles with these forms. So just to make it a little bit more simpler, part 1 would be to enter your social security number or your tax payer identification number. So either or, if you have one or the other, fill it out. And so that way we can make sure that we are capturing all this information. Second part would be your signature. So by you signing and dating this form, you're acknowledging that everything that you filled out and provided is current and accurate. And again, this is a IRS form, so we want to make sure that we have all the correct information. And so once you've completed the W-9 form and you've put your name, address, checked all the boxes, your social security or TIN number, and you've signed and dated, we provided you with an envelope that's from Harder & Company to Harder & Company. And we put postage on that. So that envelope that you see right there is exactly what was included in the packet. And you can fold the form, drop it in a mailbox or your local post office. The next section that we're going to be going over is the direct deposit form. Again, this could be a little bit confusing. Like I said, I have troubles with forms. So this first section is the CSC member. So this is pertaining to you. So this would be your name as it appears on your bank. Again, if you go by Robert and you like to be called Bobby, we don't want to have you put Bobby there, because when we go to verify the information, it's not going to match. Or if your name is Guadalupe and you like to go by Lupita, we want to make sure that we are getting your information correctly. Your mailing address as well, current, full, street name, street number, unit, city, state, and zip code. Telephone number, so the best contact number that we can reach you at. And email address. This is required for direct deposit, just because it would be going electronically. So in case we need to communicate with you electronically, an email address would be needed. So please provide that information as legibly as possible. We don't want to misread a character. And the next part that we're going to be going over is the financial institution information. This is important. This is where we need the bank name. So where we're going to make the direct deposit to. So if you have a credit union, you put the credit union's name there. If you have Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Navy Fed, and so forth. So that's where you would put the bank name. The next part would be the routing number. So on a check, we provided an image. It's usually the first numbers on the check. And if you don't happen to have a check, you can contact your bank and get that routing information from them. The next piece would be the account number. So that's important as well. So that way we can make sure that we get it directly into your account, again, as legible as possible. So that way we don't transpose a number, or we don't, if we can't read it, then we don't want to make an error. So make sure that you provide us with a legible account information. And then the last piece on this section would be the account type. So if it is a savings account, savings, if it is a checking account, and so forth. The next part would be the authorization section. So this is basically you authorizing Harder & Company to do an electronic credit to your account. So we would need your name as it appears on your bank, your signature, your address, and the date that you signed the form. So if you run out of space, you can go on. You don't have to be on the line. And so if anybody has any questions in regards to the form, let us know. I'll take a quick pause. Okay. So now we're going to transition.
Yo tengo una pregunta.
I have a question. Do we have to fill out that document? Because what if we don't have a bank account?
So if you don't have a bank account, you don't have to fill out the direct deposit. It's completely optional. So if you still want to continue to get your checks, you don't fill this form out, don't send it back to us, and you will continue to get your checks. As long as we receive the W-9 form with the correct address, we'll make sure that your checks get to you.
Está bien, gracias.
That's good. Thank you.
We can go on to the frequently asked questions. So I know that was a lot of information. So a frequently asked question that we came up with would be, why do I need to fill out a W-9? And this is a really great question. We want to make sure that we have your current information that we received from the previous facilitators. So if some updates have happened since we've taken over, we want to make sure that we have the most current accurate information on our end. And then also for tax purposes, at the end of the year, we are required to issue you a 1099 form if your stipends exceed $600 or more. So this is something that we have to generate to you. And by providing us an updated W-9, we are able to get that document to you. And also this will help by cutting down on the misdirected checks. So again, if we don't have your current address and we haven't gotten that form, the check will be sent to your previous address. So that will cause delays there for you to get your check. Okay. The next question is my stipend check taxable income? And yes, it is considered income and it is taxable. Again, W-9 plays into part with the amount that you get. So we want to make sure that we're all adhering to, the IRS and reporting everything how we're supposed to. The third question, when do I need to return the W-9 form? So we are requesting everyone to send the forms in by February 20th. But again, if you need a little bit more time, reach out to me. My contact information is going to be at the end of the slide presentation. And the next one is, when do I need to return the direct deposit form? Again, the form is optional. So if you want to continue to get your physical checks in the mail, don't send the form in. But if you decide later that you want to send the form in, you can send it back to us. But it's completely optional. And you can include it with the W-9 form, so you don't have to spend postage. The next question, do we need to fill this out every year? The answer is yes, just to make sure that we have our information current. And again, if in the year you happen to move or have a name change or things happen, we want to make sure that we have that current information on file for you. And number 6, how is my information stored? So all the paper and electronic information that we receive, we have a secure location where only accounting and myself have access to. So everything that I receive via mail or via email is kept confidential and moved into a secure location. And I treat it as if it was mine. So I don't want my information floating out there. So I wouldn't want your information floating out there either. So I will treat it with the utmost respect. And when does my stipend check get mailed out? So stipend checks get mailed out to the address that you provide on the 1st and or 4th week of each month. So it just varies on the meetings that are held or the meetings that you're attending. But those are the set dates that we will send those checks out via mail. And I'll be the one sending those out to you. And who do I call regarding the status of my stipend check? That would be me. You can call our main line, which is at 619-398-1980. Again, you can reach me. If I'm not able to answer, leave a voicemail with your name and a callback number. Don't leave any other details. And I'll call you back if it's regarding the status on your check, say, I just want to see the status, call me back, and I'll be sure to call you back. And what happens if I do not send in my W-9 form? So if we don't have your form, this will put a hold on the monthly stipend check until we receive it. So again, if we don't have the correct address on file, if we're not able to confirm, or if you haven't been receiving the checks by providing the W-9, we'll be able to continue sending those payments to you. So please send those in to us. And the next one is, when should I expect my first direct deposit after I send the form in? So to be quite honest, it depends on when we receive your form. If the form is received on a Monday of the processing week, so let's just say we're on the 4th week, and I receive it on that week and it's a Monday, I will provide it to accounting and they will submit everything into the system, set up the direct deposit, and you should receive it within the same week. So either like on a Thursday or Friday, depends on how your bank is set up to receive deposits. But again, it can take up to the next disbursement. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to me and I can reach out to my accounting department and then provide you with an answer. And
Tengo una pregunta.
I have a question. Number 2, that says the name of a business. What number do I put there? Or what name?
If you do not have a business, you don't have to put that information there. But if you do, then you put your business name.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
If you happen to misplace or lose, or the envelope gets ruined that we provided in the packet, the mailing address that you would send the forms back to would be to me, Harder and Company at 3965 5th Avenue, Suite 420, San Diego, California, 92103. Do you have any questions? And during this time, I also wanted to provide, if you have any, like I said, questions, my email address is provided on the screen. It is also on the direct deposit form and on the letters that were sent out. And if you happen to send your forms in, so thank you for those that have been sending the forms in. If there's any information that didn't get filled completely, just wanted to let you know that we will be following up with that. So I may send the correspondence back to you to sign or date, or if I have any questions, I'll reach out to you. Again, this is my contact information, so you can reach me at either email or phone number.
Thank you so much, Yvette. Are there any questions? Feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand, or just unmute yourself. We're a small group. All right, Yvette, I think you did a great job. It was all straightforward and all questions were answered. So we have shared the slide with the Air District, and I think they will distribute it to everyone. So you'll have this information available whenever you need to reference it. All right, so with that said, I'm going to pass it off to Zong to lead the next half of this meeting.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Disculpa, yo tengo una pregunta.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yep, go for it. Yes, please
Sí,
go ahead,
tengo una
Lorena.
pregunta.
Yes, I have a question. The W's to get our taxes done from, or from the ones from last year, when are you going to send those? This is the interpreter. I think she means the 1099s that you sent.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to my accounting department, but that would be from the previous facilitator. They would be generating that W-9 for the tax purposes for last year. Since we only issued for the stipends for October, November, and December, that's under the $600. So you would not be getting a W-9 from us because it's under the $600 report, like the income you have to report.
Ok. Ándale, pues, gracias.
You're welcome.
Sí.
I guess this
everything clear.
question, oh, sorry, I'm just gonna.
Una pregunta, oye, me quedé un
A
poco
question. I'm very sorry. I'm a little bit confused. The W-9 that we have been sent, we're going to fill it out and send it, correct?
Sí, por todos los estipendios que ya hemos recibido.
With
No
all
es
the
solamente
stipends that we have received, not just October, November, and December.
confundí ahí.
2022.
Put out just a little bit, Yvette. What was that?
So
Okay.
the question was the W-9. She has to fill the form out.
Sí, es que acaban de preguntar algo que me confundió. O sea,
Hey, everyone, this is the interpreter. I think the confusion here is that there is somebody's asking about a W-9 and somebody's asking about for the tax returns. So Maria Teresa is confused.
Doña Tere, ay, disculpe, sorry. ¿Cuál era la pregunta de usted?
recién acaban de preguntar que cuándo van a mandar
So
la
they
doble-
just asked when they're going to send the W-9, and the lady has said that
Todavía no la van a mandar porque
they are
fue
still
en
not going to
octubre,
send it
noviembre y
because
diciembre
it was
que
just
pagaron,
October,
pero
November, and
ya no
December that we
pagaron,
were paid, but
nos
they
faltan
already
más de
sent
3
it
cheques.
and they've given us more than 3 checks. So that's where I was confused.
Oh, do you want me to answer it or I'm sorry?
Well, yeah, basically, the payments that were received for October, November, December, that's the fiscal year for 2021. So it will not exceed $600. So there's no W-9 that's going to be issued to her. But we are requesting a new W-9 filled out for this new fiscal year of 2022.
¿Sí captó eso, doña Tere, o ocupa un poquito
Ok,
más
entonces
explicación?
hay que llenar un W9 o dos.
So do I have to fill out one W-9 or
La
2?
forma que le mandaron, doña Tere.
Ay, ok,
If you haven't
ok.
received the packet, let me know, or yeah, let me know, and then I can make a list and resend the forms out.
I
Yo lo
also,
recibí, pero es que me confundí con la pregunta que hicieron. Gracias.
I received it, but I was a little confused with the question that was asked. Thank you.
okay, I just want to clarify, Amelia, because you said there was a question around the 1099 for the tax returns. Is that right?
Yes, that was Lorena's original question. That's why Maria was confused.
Ah, I
Because
see,
she kept
okay.
saying W-9, not the tax return. So that's why it
1099.
confused.
Gotcha. No, that yeah, the 1099, the tax return, that's separate, and that was from your previous set of stipends. The W-2 is a separate form for us. So yeah, I don't know if the Air District has anything to add around that. I don't know, I'm looking at you, Heather, but my eyes must see.
Risk adding confusion. So basically all of these forms, the initial W-9 helps our facilitator send information to the IRS about what they're paying you. And the 1099 separate form completely, comes at the end of the year after everything's been paid out, and it tells you what to put in your tax return or your accountant, and it's just a record for you of the previous year. That's the 1099. The W-9 is the beginning form, the one you do first to provide your information to our facilitator so we can pay you. You would do that for the old facilitator, which you did. You'll do it again for this new facilitator, and more than likely we'll do it fresh every year so that we can verify your information and make sure it's accurate. The W-9 is our way to communicate to the IRS, and the 1099 is what they communicate back at the end of the year. Hope that helps.
Thank you, Heather. I hope that clarified some things. Were there any other questions? We'd be happy to answer them now. All right, if anything comes up, oh, yep, Estela, go for it.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just have some worry that they said that every year we have to fill out a W-9. I believe that if it's the same facilitators, wouldn't it just be easier and safer for us to just ask the question if we have the same address and if all the information is the same, then we don't have to fill out that form again? Because, well, I'm very cautious to fill out all of these papers, and more than anything, if it has my social security number. And so Yvette mentions I'm going to take care of them like if they were mine, but I say, okay, you're going to take care of them like they're yours, but I still have that worry because if every single year I'm going to be sending my social security number and I don't see those documents at the end, where are those documents gonna go, right? So then for me, I think that it would be better if you would just ask us if we haven't changed addresses or if we haven't had any type of change, then I don't think it would be necessary for us to send the W-9 every single year if it's the same facilitators. That's my worry.
Receive, we will dispose of, so shred, and make sure that anything that we have on file. In regards to your concern of having to refill it out every year, I'm gonna bring that to our accounting department and see if we have a solution. I know technology changes or processes change. So I will bring your concern up with the accounting team and see what they come back with.
Thank you, Yvette.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
These are great
Definitely
questions.
here.
Yeah, these are great questions. Any more questions or concerns you'd like to share that we can talk through? Okay, if something comes up, feel free to throw them in the chat. We have the last half for the Air District to walk us through some Zoom instructions. So I'm going to pass it off to Zong to kick it off.
Thank you so much, Jem. Appreciate it. And I'm super excited that there's so many of you guys this afternoon joining us. We've been wanting to do this Zoom tech for some time now, and so we're happy to get this going. And just to recap, my name is Zong Song, and I'm with the Outreach and Communications team at the Valley Air District. And we are going to do a quick Zoom tech tutorial. For many of you, we've been doing Zoom meetings throughout all the CSCs. So you've joined us, and we are excited that you guys continue to join us in our CSC meetings. But just a quick raise of hands, we were just wondering, how many of you are joining us right now on a phone? Can you guys raise your hands? Either turn on your camera, or if you guys want to raise your thumbs in the reaction. Great. Okay, I see a couple hands and thumbs. Wonderful. What about who's joining us on their computer or laptop? Can you raise your hands? Okay, a couple as well. Awesome. Nice. Okay. Well, we're going to go over both how to join our meetings, Zoom meetings in general, using either your cell phone, and then we'll also go over joining our Zoom meetings on a computer or laptop. So I'm going to hand it off to Mari. Are you good to go?
Yes, I think I'm back. Thank you so much. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties over on my side, but I am back. Marisela Velasquez here. I'm also with the Valier District. I'm going to go ahead and just share a short video, but it is in Spanish, and we will have the interpreter say that interpret the video in English. But we're going to go ahead. It's a short video. It's about 8 or 9 minutes long. And this is to show basically how you would log into a Zoom meeting and how to do some reactions, or how to get into the interpretation channel, how to turn on your video, how to mute yourself. But we're going to go ahead and share that now. And then we'll hold off to the end of the video for any further questions. And then I think we also have a small PowerPoint that Heather will be sharing with us as well. So just hold on just one moment. Let me get my share screen ready. Oh, and here we go again. Okay, I think I got it. For some reason, these buttons keep holding off. Let me share this. Let me share myself. Okay, here we go.
Hola y bienvenidos a la
Hello
sesión.
and welcome to today's session, where we are going to show you how to go into a Zoom meeting using, in this case, we're going to see it on a text message. You're going to select the link that is on the screen or inside of the text. And right now on the screen, you can see that there is a message that is mentioning that this meeting is being recorded. And if you are in agreement, then you are going to push the button that says agreed. And if you would like to not be recorded, then you would not be able to participate in the meeting. And that is then when you say leave meeting. So in this case, I do want to be present. I'm going to press where it says understood. And now it's going to ask me how I would like to hear this meeting or how I want to connect through audio. In this case, I would like to put the one that says Wi-Fi or mobile data. And the audio that I'm hearing in this moment is to remind you that this meeting is being recorded. And now in this moment, we can select the different languages that we have available. You would like to select that button where it says more, or these 3 dots. And then here you're going to be able to select the language that you would like to hear for this meeting. You're going to go where it says language interpretation, and it has a little globe icon. You have 3 options. You have the original audio, or if you like English or Spanish. And in this case, I would like to hear the meeting in English. So I click English. And this is for the Spanish speakers. Then we would put to mute original audio. That way you're only listening to one voice. However, if you're on English, you will not silence the original audio. Once you are done, then you will select the done button at the top right corner. Select that. And now we're already in the Spanish or English channel, and I'm going to hear this meeting in English. And so I would like to show you how you're going to change your name. In case you have another name on this device, the way you're going to do that is I'm going to go where it says participants. And you can see that there is 4 participants in this meeting. I'm going to select my name, which is the person all the way at the top. It says Marisela Velasquez. I'm going to select that. And here I have the option to change my name. I'm going to select that button. And here for AB 617 in these meetings, we would like or if you would like to keep receiving your stipends or receive credits and have you here as present, you're going to want to put an R at the beginning because this means that you are a resident of this committee. And then you're going to put your name. If this is your name, then you're going to leave it as it is. If there is more people in the home that are participating and are also eligible for the stipends, then you're going to put their names down as well for those people who are present in your home and that are participating. And once you have the names of everybody who is participating in your home, you're going to press OK, and then it'll change the name to those people who are present with you. Now, to close this screen, on the left top side, you're gonna put close. Alrighty, and so now we are in the general meeting. What other options would we like to see, or some other options that we'd like to see is because we already saw where the participants are, and now how can we unmute ourselves or to reactivate our mics? So if you look at the screen, if you look at the bottom left, I have the microphone, but it has a red line that says that right now my microphone is not active. If in case I am called on and that I am able to speak, then I'm going to select that button. And now in this moment, you are going to be able to speak to the main room. And to mute yourself once more, you'll be able to select it and that you'll have that red line and you'll be on mute. Now, after that, I would like to show you how to be able to send a chat or send messages through the chat. In one moment, you're going to select the three dots once more, and then we're going to go to where it says chat. We're going to select that button that says chat. That is the first option that I have here. And then you're going to see all the different messages that have been sent throughout when you started the meeting. And in this case, we're going to be able to see that a person has already mentioned all the information when it comes to the committees, and they also shared a link where you can find all of that information. And also, always in these meetings, there is a message in English and a message in Spanish. In this case, we can see that Anna has shown us all of this information that Heather has put, and also the link where you can find any more information about the AB 617 steering committee. If you would like to send a message, then you can see at the bottom of the screen where it says send to, and it's blue everyone. You're going to be able to send a message to everyone. So here I'm going to put hello. My name is Marisela, or whatever message you would like to send in that moment. I'm just sharing you a message that you could send, or you could also ask your questions or make your comments through the chat. Here I put hello, I am Marisela, and I'm going to send this message, and then that way everybody can see what you have sent. If you would like to send a private message to somebody who is on this committee or on this meeting participating, then you're going to select, as I put here, everyone in blue. I'm going to select that button, and then it's going to send me to a screen where it mentions everyone who's participating that I can send them a message. So in this case, I can either send one to Anna or Heather. I would like to send a message to Anna to say, just to say hi. And these messages, I would like to let you know that these messages, you might think that they are private. And in this case, they are private in the meeting. But then when the meeting transcript is shown, that these different chats come out. So it is not a personal message. It will also be marked in the transcript. And so I would just like to warn you that any message that you mention or that you send to another person that is just in these meetings or just in personal messages. So to close the chat, then you're gonna go to the top left and click close in order to come out of the chat. And then once again, I am in the regular meeting. And now I would like to show you, because we've already shown how to send a message and then how to come back to the original meeting. And let's see what other options we have here. Also, if you would like to change, oh, yes, I would just like to mention if you want people to be able to see that you are present, then you can put here where it says to start video. You'll just select it and then people can see you. You're going to select that button so that people can see you. And if you would like for that camera not to be shown, then you'll just go ahead and push that same button again and your camera will close and they will not be seeing you. That is everything about this training. And now we're going to go back to the regular meeting. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's a short, quick video. I'm going to go ahead and I think hand it over to Heather, unless we want to take questions for this part right now, or do we want to hold off till we share your stuff, Heather?
I was playing around with some of the settings. I think we were learning that maybe someone couldn't hear that video because they had their original audio muted. So lots to learn when it comes to this Zoom stuff, especially when we go into 2 different language channels. There's original audio that always feeds in. And sometimes, like when you play a video into the original audio, you have to go back to that and turn it on. So that you can hear that video, but otherwise you would have turned it off because let's say you pick Spanish, you didn't want to hear the original English audio, you just wanted to hear the Spanish language. So some of those little peculiar things will keep working with you because I think Maria Teresa had trouble. She was not able to hear that video right now. And we recognize that her original audio was muted. So let me show you. Mari's video talked at length about a view on a phone. And we know that many come in on phones, but in case you have access also to a computer or a laptop, I'm going to share my screen and show you the view there and talk through a couple of those buttons too. Once I share my screen though, it is quite hard to see comments and things. So Mari, if you or Zong would tell me and jump in, that would be awesome. All right, are you seeing a beautiful picture of Mari and Anna? Did I share the correct screen? Cool. So this is what those of us that log in on a desktop usually will see. I'm going to scroll down a little bit because the buttons are always at the bottom of the screen. And it may look a little overwhelming right now because there's quite a few buttons. And there's a few more buttons than you probably see normally. And so let's advise the Spanish speakers to unmute the audio. So I did actually see that chat. Are we good? Everything good? Continue? Yes. Okay. So on the screen, you're taking a look at all the main buttons. As a, as a host or as people that do some of the logistics, you end up with extra buttons. And so, for example, you can see my little mouse hand, right? Can you? Yeah. Okay. This guy right here, most of you won't have this. This is a new feature that Zoom has pushed out. Also sort of a nod to keeping things updated. For example, when you use your phone, sometimes you realize you can't get into an app because it's updating. Make sure you let the Zoom app update too. They always fix things and improve processes. And one of their improvements, of course, is this little app button that allows you to have extra features. We didn't even translate it on the screen because we're not going to worry about that button. It doesn't show up for too many people. So I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning to these 2 buttons. We're all fairly familiar now, and it was much harder to see those on a cell phone Zoom. On the big desktop, it's fairly easy to see. Big microphone looking thing. Red line means that you're muted. Obviously, you press it to turn it on. Same applies for the video. Red line means you're not being shown. And the next one is participants. Mari showed you in the phone view how you can click that and see the list of participants, or actually it doesn't quite show like that, but it works the same here. If you were to depress that, usually on the right side of your screen, the participant list will show up and you'll see your name and all the other people in the call. Same for the chat. It's much easier to use chat. I would encourage you, if you are able to get home, fine, and you do have access to a laptop or a computer, try using, try the next meeting on the desktop. See if that doesn't improve the experience for you. I recognize maybe some don't have one, but if you do, see what you think. You'll see that the chat button is very easy. It pops open a much bigger window that you can pull and shape the size of it and type on a keyboard, and it's a little easier. The green button in the middle, most of the time only presenters and our facilitators use that. You really wouldn't have a need probably ever to use it unless you were maybe sharing something that you created, in which case we'd probably be working with you ahead of time to make sure you could do that. The record button is in the middle. It usually is disabled for most participants just because it creates a lot of electronic baggage if you create a file that has the recording of the meeting. And so we often will disable that. And so you don't really need to worry about that. But if you pressed it, it might actually tell you you don't have permission to record. Or if you pressed it and it turned red, that would mean you do and you were recording. And there's a file that would be stored on your computer. Again, don't worry about that. But that is what that is. This button allows us to record the meetings and share them later and put them on the website and do a lot of different things with it. It also allows us to have a copy of our chat. So we always want to collect a copy of our chat. The live transcript button is for those with visual impairment. You can turn that on, or excuse me, audio impairment. You can turn that on, and it unfortunately doesn't do it exactly. It is just a service that interprets words. And so much like if you've ever used Google Translate for something, it might not always be accurate. But those that really can't hear at all find value in some of the basic transcript being available. Most of the time that feature isn't utilized, which is also why we didn't define it here. And then of course, reactions. We'd love for you to get familiar with reactions. Zoom has been updating their features. Reactions used to just be, I think, applause and a heart and maybe a smiley face. Now there's quite a bit more you can do with reactions. And oh, I don't actually have a screen that shows them lifted, but maybe next session. And then of course, the very important button, the one that is most important if you need a different language, is the interpretation globe. If you find yourself in a meeting and that globe is not on, that is because interpretation has not been activated. So looking for the globe is the key to finding your other language. And of course, if you don't see it, then that means, you know, raise that hand and we should probably be figuring out how to turn it on. We do go into the beginning of every meeting and remind folks how to look for that little globe button and turn it on. And we also usually talk about, this is what I was just talking about a second ago. When you actually go in and press the globe, you get these options. Turn off language interpretation. It's not on at all, which means you just hear whatever audio goes into the main channel. Put yourself in the English channel or put yourself in the Spanish channel. Those are the only two languages we ever offer. And so you can select your channel to hear the language of preference, with the exception of what we just experienced, which is when we play audio that isn't coming from one of us into the main channel, that audio comes out of the original audio. And so it doesn't go into a language channel. And so you would have to have your muted or your original audio on so you could hear something in the main channel. I hope that makes sense. You'll always hear what's coming out of the language you chose. And then if you've ever got the original audio not muted and you hear a bunch of extra noise, or maybe the original presenter is loud and you're also hearing the Spanish translation, it's probably because that original audio is feeding into your Zoom call, and you just need to click the button to mute it, that button that's blue right there. And then of course, the very last button, the red button, read appropriately because it's a warning, that's to leave the call. Sometimes, well, I won't even get into that. That's how you exit the call if you'd like to leave, and it will prompt you and make sure you're certain that you want to. It won't just take you out if you accidentally press it. And then I also wanted to show you, this is the pop out of these first buttons that we talked about, the participant button and the chat button. When you click those, it calls open to the right of your screen that list. So here was the call and the participants when we worked on this. And this is the chat. And Madi, it's similar in the phone and mobile view, how you can select everyone, and you should be careful and make sure you know who you're posting to, or in some cases, if it's enabled, you can click the little caret and see the list of participants and send a direct message. Certainly risky to do that. We have all been guilty of putting a direct message in the main channel. So we don't advise direct messaging unless you have a problem, need to message the host. You want to compliment someone's hair, great, but just you run the risk of sharing that with the whole group. Do we have any questions? And I was not looking at the screen when Zong did her poll. Do we have any folks that join fairly regularly through a computer, or no? Does everyone use, or most folks use a mobile phone?
There is a handful of people that raise their hands.
Okay, cool. And so, and the best late plans, much like we already experienced, we often have technical issues. In the very beginning, we used to have trouble getting between the languages, which is why we didn't do simultaneous. Now, in the last few meetings, you've all been here and we are far more familiar with Zoom. And so we're hoping to get you far more familiar with it as well. All right.
We have a few more minutes left. Were there any questions for us in terms of Zoom, joining our meetings, our CSE meetings via Zoom and switching to simultaneous translation, or any other issues with Zoom?
All right. Well, I know Zong dropped it into chat, the video of how to access the different features from a mobile device. We can also share out this nice little screenshot of the button definitions. And as you think of things or try things, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We very much would like you know, as many of you as possible to be able to participate fully and see the screen and, you know, read the presentations as they get put in front of you. So hoping to help you do that.
I think that's it for our portion. Jem, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, I hope both sessions were helpful, and this is recorded, so you can always watch the video again if you want to reference anything. And like I said, the slides that we use for the W-9 and direct deposit form will be shared. They're bilingual, so they have English and Spanish, so you can use that as reference as well. And you have Yvette's contact information in those documents she mailed out, as well as in the slides. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. We'd be happy to address them. Okay, any last questions or comments since we have a minute left?
Way to stay on time, team.
All right, great job, everyone. Thank you. We'll all let you go. Have a good rest of your evening.
Happy Zooming.
Thank you.
Yes. Gracias.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.